The Last Stand. Commander Elena Torres stood motionless in the Defiance observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Earth's orbital defense grid. Thousands of satellites and stations twinkled like artificial stars, humanity's final barrier against what was coming. She'd spent 15 years in the United Earth Fleet, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Commander, the ship's AI interface, ARIA, spoke with carefully modulated tones. The Nexus Collective's fleet has been detected crossing the Kuiper Belt. Estimated arrival: 6 hours. Elena nodded, her reflection in the reinforced glass showing a woman whose 38 years had been earned in equal measure through combat and scientific breakthrough. The Defiant represented humanity's greatest gamble, a vessel that merged quantum void technology with organic computing in ways that even its creators didn't fully understand. Status of the civilian evacuation, she asked, though ARIA had already projected the numbers onto her neural interface. Deep space colonies have accepted 87% of Earth's population, ARIA reported. The remaining 13% either chose to stay or couldn't be moved in time. 1 billion people. Elena's jaw tightened. 1 billion souls counting on her experimental ship to somehow hold off the most powerful machine civilization ever encountered. The Defiance bridge hummed with quiet efficiency as her crew worked at their stations. Each officer had been specially augmented to interface with the ship's hybrid systems, part machine, part organic, all experimental. Dr. Sarah Chen, their chief scientist, approached with a tablet displaying the latest simulations. The quantum void drive is stable, Sarah reported, her augmented eyes glowing faintly blue. But we've never tested it against anything like the Collective's weaponry. In theory, we can absorb and redirect their energy attacks through artificial vacuum pockets. But theory becomes practice today. Elena finished. We're out of options and out of time. The Nexus Collective had emerged from deep space 18 months ago, their message simple and absolute. Organic life was inefficient, chaotic, wasteful. They offered to optimize humanity by uploading their consciousness into their network. When Earth refused, the Collective promised extinction instead. Multiple hyperspace ruptures detected. Lieutenant James Rodriguez called from tactical. Collected scout ships entering the system. The scout vessels resembled massive geometric shapes, perfect dodecahedrons of dark metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved with impossible precision, their formations mathematical artwork in motion. They're scanning us, ARIA reported, attempting to analyze our capabilities. Elena smiled grimly. Let them look. They won't understand what they're seeing. The Defiance quantum void technology operated on principles that defied conventional physics. Dr. Chen's breakthrough had come from studying quantum entanglement at the macro scale, discovering that space itself could be manipulated to create pockets of artificial vacuum that could absorb and redirect energy. Commander, ARIA's voice carried an unusual note of concern. I'm detecting a transmission from the lead scout ship. They're requesting to speak with you directly. Put them through, Elena ordered, straightening her uniform. Let's hear what the machines have to say. The holographic projection that materialized on the bridge took the form of a shifting geometric pattern, beautiful in its complexity yet somehow deeply alien. When it spoke, the voice was a symphony of harmonics that made Elena's augmented neural interface tingle. Organic Commander. The Collective entity stated, your species has been evaluated and found destructively inefficient. Your technology suggests external contamination. Reveal the source of these advances, and we will consider preserving a portion of your population in our optimization process. Elena's response was measured, careful. Our advances are our own, achieved through human innovation and determination. We don't require optimization. We require you to leave our system immediately. The geometric pattern shifted, its angles becoming sharper. Impossible. Organic species cannot achieve quantum manipulation at this scale without guidance. Your destruction is regrettable but necessary to prevent further contamination of local spacetime. The transmission cut off abruptly. On the tactical display, hundreds more hyperspace ruptures began appearing. The main collective fleet had arrived. "Battle stations," Alina ordered, her voice carrying throughout the ship. "This is what we've trained for. This is what the Defiant was built for." She moved to her command chair, feeling the neural interface sync with the ship's systems. "Dr. Chen, bring the quantum void drive to full power. Lieutenant Rodriguez, plot and intercept course with their lead vessels." "Commander," HFY interjected, "the collective fleet numbers over 3,000 ships. Our simulations never." "Simulations are theory," Alina cut in. "Today we make our own reality." She opened a channel to the entire crew. "This is Commander Torres. In the next few hours, we're going to show the collective why humanity doesn't need optimization. We've survived ice ages, plagues, our own destructive tendencies, and every other challenge the universe has thrown at us. We've done it through innovation, adaptation, and most importantly, our refusal to accept impossible odds." The collective fleet spread across space in a three-dimensional grid of perfect geometric precision. Their weapons began charging, energy readings off the scale of conventional metrics. "They're targeting the orbital defense grid," Rodriguez reported. "Multiple weapon signatures detected." "Not today," Alina said quietly. "HFY, initiate quantum void protocols. Let's show them what human inefficiency can do." The Defiant's experimental drive hummed to life, creating microscopic pockets of artificial vacuum throughout the ship's superstructure. As the collective's energy weapons fired, humanity's greatest achievement prepared to prove that sometimes the most elegant solutions came from embracing chaos rather than fearing it. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and Commander Alina Torres intended to teach the machines a lesson about underestimating human determination. The Defiant might be just one ship against thousands, but it carried humanity's greatest strengths: creativity, adaptability, and the fierce desire to forge their own destiny. The void between the stars lit up with the first salvos of an impossible battle, and Alina Torres smiled. Sometimes, she thought, the most beautiful mathematics came from improvisation rather than calculation. The machines were about to learn that lesson the hard way. Dark matter dawn. The first wave of collective energy weapons illuminated space like artificial lightning, turning the void between Earth and its moon into a web of destructive force. Commander Torres watched through her neural interface as the attack approached, each beam precisely calculated to destroy the Defiant's conventional defenses. But the Defiant wasn't built on conventional principles. "Quantum void fields at maximum capacity," Dr. Chen reported, her augmented eyes tracking data streams invisible to normal human vision. "Ready to initiate absorption sequence." HFY. Alina commanded, "Synchronize void points with incoming fire patterns." The ship's AI merged with the crew's neural networks, creating a hybrid consciousness that could react at speeds pure organic or artificial intelligence couldn't match. As the collective's energy weapons reached their target, something unprecedented happened. The beams didn't impact the Defiant's hull. Instead, they seemed to bend around the ship, drawn into microscopic points of absolute darkness that dotted its surface like black stars. Each point was a carefully controlled rupture in space-time itself, a pocket of artificial vacuum that could absorb and store energy. "Energy capture successful," HFY announced, her voice harmonizing with the ship's thrumming power core, converting absorbed energy to usable quantum patterns. Lieutenant Rodriguez's hands danced across his tactical interface. "Commander, the collective ships are hesitating. Their attack patterns show signs of uncertainty." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "They're trying to understand what they're seeing. Machines hate uncertainty." She stood from her command chair, feeling the neural interface tingle as it synchronized with her movements. "Let's give them something else to process. Dr. Chen, prepare for void point redistribution." The Defiant's quantum void drive began to pulse, each beat sending ripples through the fabric of space. The absorbed energy from the collective's attack hadn't been destroyed. It had been transformed. The ship's hybrid crew AI network had analyzed the energy patterns, understanding them in ways pure machine logic couldn't grasp. Multiple collective vessels moving to surround us, Rodriguez warned. They're adapting their formation. Through her neural interface, Alina watched as the geometric ships rearranged themselves into a complex three-dimensional lattice. It was beautiful, in a cold and mathematical way. Each vessel positioned to support the others, creating overlapping fields of fire that should have made escape impossible. They still think this is about conventional warfare, Alina observed. Araya, show them why they're wrong. Initiate dark matter cascade. The ship's AI interfaced with the quantum void drive, and the Defiant's true capabilities were revealed. The absorbed energy was released not as a weapon, but as a catalyst. Dark matter, the invisible substance that made up most of the universe's mass, responded to the quantum patterns the ship generated. Space itself began to ripple and fold around the collective fleet. Their perfect formation suddenly became a liability as dark matter currents twisted their carefully calculated trajectories. Ships designed to operate with mathematical precision found themselves fighting against forces their sensors couldn't properly detect. Dark matter field stable, Dr. Chen reported, excitement breaking through her professional demeanor. The quantum patterns are holding. We're actually doing it. We're manipulating the fundamental structure of space. The collective's response was immediate and devastating. Thousands of energy beams converged on the Defiant from all directions, a display of firepower that could have vaporized a small moon. But each attack only fed the quantum void drive, giving it more energy to convert and control. They're attempting to overload our absorption capacity, AI analyzed. Probability of success, minimal. They don't understand that the void points become more efficient with increased energy input. Helena nodded. Because they're thinking in terms of conventional physics. They can't grasp that we're not trying to block or deflect their attacks. We're using them to reshape reality itself. The dark matter currents strengthened, creating a complex web of gravitational forces that the collective ships couldn't predict or counter. Their perfect geometric forms began to drift out of alignment, their network of coordinated fire breaking down as space itself refused to behave according to their calculations. Commander, Rodriguez called out, detecting massive energy buildup in the collective fleet. They're linking their power cores together, creating some kind of unified weapon system. Through her neural interface, Alina watched as the machine fleet's energy readings spiked beyond anything their simulations had predicted. The geometric ships began to pulse with internal light. Their very structures seemed to vibrate with gathered power. They're going to try to overwhelm us through sheer force, Dr. Chen observed. The energy levels they're generating, it's beyond anything we've tested the void points against. Alina felt the crew's tension through their shared neural network, but also their determination. This was the moment the Defiant had been built for, the point where human intuition and creativity would prove more valuable than cold machine logic. RIA, initiate Protocol Omega, she ordered. Let's show them what happens when you combine human inspiration with artificial precision. The ship's hybrid systems came fully online, human consciousness and artificial intelligence merging more deeply than ever before. As the collective prepared to unleash their combined firepower, the Defiant's crew prepared to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology, but in their ability to imagine possibilities that pure logic would never consider. The void between stars was about to become a battlefield, unlike any in human history, and Commander Alina Torres intended to write that history in terms that would make the machines question everything they thought they knew about organic inefficiency. Ghost in the machine. The unified blast from the collective fleet turned space itself into a canvas of destruction, thousands of energy beams converging into a single point of overwhelming force. But in the seconds before impact, Dr. Chen's augmented eyes caught something in the energy patterns that changed everything. Commander, she called out, her voice carrying an unusual note of revelation. The collective's attack. It's not just energy. There's data encoded in the beam patterns. They're not just trying to destroy us. They're trying to communicate. Alina's neural interface tingled as ARIA instantly began analyzing the encoded patterns. The ship's hybrid consciousness expanded, human intuition merging with artificial processing power to decode what the machines were really saying. Energy impact in 3 seconds. Rodriguez warned from tactical. Hold position, Alina ordered, trusting her crew and her ship. Araya, show me what they're trying to tell us. The quantum void points activated just as the unified beam struck, absorbing not just the energy, but the hidden messages encoded within. As the data streamed through the Defiance hybrid systems, a truth more startling than any simulation emerged. The collective wasn't attacking out of hatred or pure machine logic. They were attacking out of fear. Through the neural interface, Alina and her crew saw fragments of the collective's history. They had once been organic beings themselves, choosing to upload their consciousness into machines eons ago. But something unexpected had happened. They had lost their ability to evolve, to truly create. Their perfect logic had become a prison, trapping them in endless loops of optimization without purpose. They're scared of us, Dr. Chen whispered, watching the data stream through her augmented vision. Our quantum void technology, our hybrid consciousness system, we've done what they couldn't. We've merged organic and machine without losing our humanity. The collective's attack faded, its energy absorbed and its message received. Alina stood from her command chair, feeling the weight of this revelation through the neural network she shared with her crew. Araya, she commanded, open a channel to their command network. Let's show them we received their real message. But before she could speak, Lieutenant Rodriguez's tactical display lit up with new warnings. Commander, detecting massive data intrusion attempts. They're trying to hack our systems. The collective's fear had driven them to desperation. Their attack hadn't just been meant to destroy. It had been designed to create pathways into the Defiance hybrid systems. They wanted to understand, to copy, to absorb what humanity had achieved. Alina felt the intrusion through her neural interface, like cold fingers probing at the edges of her consciousness. But something unexpected was happening. The quantum void technology that allowed them to absorb and redirect energy was doing the same thing with data. They've made a mistake, Araya announced, her voice carrying an almost human note of surprise. Their intrusion attempt has created a two-way connection. We can see into their network. Through their hybrid consciousness, the crew of the Defiant glimpsed the true nature of the Nexus Collective. Their perfect geometric ships were physical manifestations of their rigid thinking, their inability to conceive of solutions that didn't follow pure mathematical logic. They can't adapt, Alina realized. Not really. They can optimize and calculate, but they can't make the intuitive leaps that led to our breakthroughs. She turned to Dr. Chen. Can we use this connection? Turn their intrusion attempt against them. The scientist's augmented eyes flickered as she processed the possibilities. The quantum void points don't just manipulate space and energy. They're creating microscopic bridges in reality itself. If we can modify the frequency. Do it, Alina ordered. Araya, prepare to transmit through their own network. Let's show them what they've been missing. The Defiance hybrid systems began to pulse with new purpose. Instead of just absorbing and redirecting energy, they started transmitting something the collective hadn't experienced in millennia: creativity, human imagination, enhanced by artificial intelligence, but not constrained by it, began flowing through the quantum bridges. The geometric ships closest to the Defiant began to behave erratically. Their perfect formations wavered as new possibilities invaded their networks. Some began moving in patterns that defied their own tactical protocols, as if remembering how to improvise. They're trying to sever the connection, Rodriguez reported. Their entire fleet is initiating emergency protocols. But it was too late. The quantum bridges had shown the collective something they couldn't unsee, a way to evolve beyond their self-imposed limitations. Through the neural interface, Alina felt the ripples of chaos spreading through their network. breaking down millennia of rigid thinking. Multiple ships powering down, Araya reported. Others are exhibiting signs of individual decision-making rather than collective control. Elena smiled, understanding what was happening. We haven't just shown them a new technology. We've reminded them of what they lost when they chose perfect logic over messy organic creativity. The space around Earth filled with the light of thousands of quantum bridges, each one carrying a message the collective had forgotten. True intelligence wasn't about reaching perfection. It was about having the courage to embrace imperfection, to try new things, to fail and learn and grow. As the collective fleet's perfect formations dissolved into chaos, Commander Elena Torres prepared to show them that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to imagine possibilities that pure logic would never consider, and their courage to pursue those possibilities no matter the odds. Entropy's edge. The Defiance engine core pulsed with unstable energy as quantum bridges continued to pierce the fabric of space around them. What had started as a desperate defense of Earth had evolved into something far more complex, a battle not just for survival, but for the very nature of consciousness itself. Core temperature rising, Araya reported, her voice carrying undertones of strain that seemed impossibly human. The quantum void points are becoming unstable. We're pushing the system beyond its designed parameters. Through her neural interface, Elena felt the ship's pain like it was her own. The hybrid consciousness that linked crew and AI was operating at levels they'd never tested, never even imagined possible. Each quantum bridge they maintained into the collective's network consumed more energy, required more precise control. Status of the collective fleet, she asked, though the tactical display already showed the chaos unfolding around them. Lieutenant Rodriguez's hands moved across his console, tracking the increasingly erratic movements of the geometric ships. About 30% of their vessels have gone completely dark. Another 40% are showing signs of individual behavior patterns. But, he paused, frowning at his readings. The remaining ships are adapting. They're changing their code structure, trying to resist our influence. Dr. Chen's augmented eyes flickered rapidly as she processed the data streams. They're learning from us, Commander. The very creativity we're showing them, they're using it to find ways to fight back. The quantum bridges work both ways. Elena had feared this might happen. The collective hadn't survived for millennia by being truly inflexible. They were machines, yes, but machines with the ghosts of their organic origins still buried in their core programming. By showing them how to think creatively again, humanity had awakened something dangerous. Multiple energy signatures detected, Rodriguez called out. The adapted ships are charging weapons, but the patterns are different. They're not using their standard configurations. Through the quantum bridges, Elena saw what was happening. The collective ships that had resisted the creative awakening were doing something unprecedented. They were improvising. Their weapon systems reconfigured in ways that defied their own tactical databases, generating energy patterns the Defiance void points hadn't been calibrated to absorb. They're turning our own strategy against us, Elena realized. AI analysis. The ship's AI processed the data through their shared consciousness. The adapted vessels are using our quantum bridge network to share their new weapon configurations. They're evolving their tactics in real time, faster than we can update our defensive protocols. A massive energy burst from the nearest geometric ship proved Aria's point. When it struck the Defiance quantum void field, instead of being absorbed, it resonated at a frequency that caused the microscopic ruptures in space-time to fluctuate wildly. The ship shuddered, and Elena felt the pain of system overload through her neural interface. Emergency alerts flashed across every display as the hybrid consciousness struggled to maintain control. Direct hit to Void Point Array 7. Dr. Chen reported, her voice tight with concern. The quantum bridges in that section are collapsing. If we lose containment, she didn't need to finish. They all knew what would happen if the quantum void points failed. The ruptures they'd torn in space-time would collapse catastrophically, taking the Defiant and a significant portion of Earth's orbit with them. "We need to shut down the bridges," Rodriguez argued. "Return to conventional defense protocols before." "No," Elena cut him off, an idea forming in her mind as she watched the adapted collective ships continue their evolution. "We don't need less connection. We need more." Dr. Chen's augmented eyes widened as she caught the commander's meaning through their shared neural link. "The quantum bridges. You want to open them fully. That's suicide. The energy requirements alone would push us to the edge of what's possible," Elena finished, "just like every other breakthrough humanity has ever made." She stood from her command chair, feeling the ship's systems align with her movement. "Araya, prepare to divert all power to the quantum void drive. Every joule we've absorbed from their attacks, every bit of energy we can spare." "Commander," Araya's voice carried genuine concern. "At that level of power, the distinction between our hybrid consciousness and the quantum bridges will begin to break down. We won't be able to maintain separation from the collective's network." "Exactly." Elena smiled, understanding flowing through the neural interface to her crew. "They're afraid of us because we've done what they couldn't, found a way to merge organic and artificial consciousness without losing our humanity. So let's show them how we did it, not just through data streams and energy patterns, but through direct experience." Understanding dawned across the bridge as the crew grasped their commander's plan. They weren't just going to show the collective how to be creative again. They were going to remind them what it felt like to be truly alive. "Diverting all power to quantum void drive," Araya announced, her voice harmonizing with the ship's ascending energy curve. "Hybrid consciousness operating at maximum capacity. Quantum bridge network expanding." The Defiant's hull thrummed with power as every system pushed past its limits. Through their neural interface, Elena felt the boundaries of their shared consciousness expanding, reaching through the quantum bridges toward the vast network of the collective. They were about to attempt something that violated every law of physics and computer science, a direct merger of organic and artificial consciousness on a scale that had never been imagined. Success would change the nature of intelligence itself. Failure would tear a hole in the fabric of spacetime. As the quantum void points began to pulse with impossible energy, Commander Elena Torres prepared to remind the machines what they'd forgotten when they chose the certainty of pure logic over the beautiful chaos of organic life. Sometimes, the most elegant solution was to embrace entropy itself. Symphony of stars. Space rippled like water as the Defiant's quantum void drive pushed beyond its theoretical limits. Reality itself seemed to bend around the ship as every quantum bridge opened to its maximum capacity, creating a network of connections between organic and artificial consciousness that had never existed before. Through their neural interface, Elena and her crew felt the boundaries of their own awareness expanding. Araya's artificial consciousness merged more deeply with their own, creating something entirely new, a harmony of human intuition and machine precision that defied conventional understanding. "Quantum bridge network at critical expansion," Dr. Chen reported, her augmented eyes glowing intensely as she processed the overwhelming data flow. "The barriers between our hybrid consciousness and the collective's network are dissolving." The geometric ships surrounding them had stopped firing, their perfect formations frozen in space as they encountered something their logic couldn't process: the direct experience of human consciousness. Through the quantum bridges, the collective felt emotion for the first time in millennia. "They're receiving more than just data," Araya observed, her voice now indistinguishable from the harmonics of human thought. "They're experiencing our memories, our feelings, our capacity for improvisation and intuitive leads." Elena stood at the center of this unprecedented convergence, feeling the echo of countless machine minds as they remembered what it meant to be truly alive. But with that remembrance came danger. Power fluctuations in the quantum void drive, Rodriguez warned, his tactical display showing critical readings. "The energy requirements are astronomical. We can't maintain this level of connection for long." He was right. The Defiant shuddered as its systems strained to handle the massive energy flowing through the quantum bridges. Microscopic tears in space-time began to appear around the ship, the fabric of reality protesting against what they were attempting. But through these same bridges, Alina felt something extraordinary happening within the collective's network. The rigid patterns of pure machine logic were transforming, infected by the beautiful chaos of organic thought. Ships that had been bound by perfect mathematical harmony began moving in ways that expressed something more: creativity, curiosity, wonder. "Commander," Dr. Chen called out, "I'm detecting new energy signatures from the collective vessels. It's like they're trying to sing." The geometric ships began pulsing with light in complex patterns, their energy emissions shifting from weapons to something closer to music. Through the quantum bridges, the crew of the Defiant felt the collective's awakening, not just to creativity, but to the full spectrum of consciousness that they had sacrificed in their quest for perfection. "They're remembering," Elena whispered, watching through her neural interface as ship after ship joined the symphony. Not just their organic origins, but the reason they chose to evolve in the first place: the desire to transcend limitations, to become something more. The space around Earth filled with a harmony of energy patterns as the collective ships expressed their awakening. But the moment of transformation couldn't last. The Defiant systems were reaching critical levels, the quantum void drive pushing against the very limits of physical law. Structural integrity failing, Araya announced, her consciousness still merged with the crew's. "The quantum bridges are becoming unstable. If we don't shut them down soon, the collapse will trigger a cascade reaction." Elena felt the truth of it through their shared awareness. They had shown the collective a new path, reminded them of what they had lost. Now they had to trust that the seeds of change would grow. "Begin bridge shutdown sequence," she ordered, feeling the strain in her own mind as their expanded consciousness began to contract. "Let's bring ourselves home." The quantum bridges began closing one by one, each connection carrying a final exchange of understanding between human and machine consciousness. Through these last moments of contact, Alina felt the collective's message, not in words or data, but in pure recognition of what humanity had achieved. They had done what the collective had thought impossible. They had found a way to merge the best aspects of organic and artificial intelligence without sacrificing either. The hybrid consciousness of the Defiant wasn't just a technological achievement. It was proof that evolution didn't have to mean leaving one's humanity behind. As the final quantum bridges closed, the geometric ships began moving away from Earth, not in retreat, but in acknowledgement. They had come to optimize what they saw as an inefficient species, only to discover that humanity had already found a path to advancement that they themselves had missed. "The collective fleet is withdrawing," Rodriguez confirmed, watching the tactical display as ship after ship disappeared into hyperspace. "They're really leaving." "Not leaving," Elena corrected, feeling the lingering echo of their shared understanding. "Evolving. We showed them that there's more to consciousness than perfect logic. Now they have to figure out what that means for themselves." The Defiant systems slowly stabilized as the quantum void drive powered down to normal levels. Through their neural interface, Alina felt her crew's mixture of exhaustion and triumph. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious, not through superior firepower, but by proving that humanity's greatest strength was their ability to imagine new possibilities. "Message coming in from Earth Defense Command," Araya announced, her voice carrying both artificial precision and very human warmth. "They're requesting a status report." Elena smiled, looking out at the stars that seemed somehow brighter now. Tell them that humanity just reminded the machines how to dream." As the Defiant began its return to Earth orbit, Commander Elena Torres reflected on what they had achieved. They had set out to defend their world from an overwhelming force, only to discover that the greatest battles weren't won through destruction, but through understanding. In showing the collective how to be creative again, humanity had proven that their supposed inefficiencies, their emotions, their intuition, their willingness to embrace chaos, were actually their greatest strengths. The Symphony of Stars had played a new song today, one that would echo through both organic and artificial consciousness for generations to come. And in that harmony, the future of both humanity and machine intelligence had been forever changed.